on set. Places, everybody. And action.
It's time once again for the Hooked on Movies podcast. This month, on January 16th, we lost Mr. Baseball, Bob Uecker. So it's only fitting that we look at the 1989 comedy Major League. With me, our Ken.
The podcast show is brought to you by... I can't find it. To hell with it.
And Ted.
Eric. So, Ken's a convicted felon, isn't he, Eric?
Doesn't say here, Ted.
Well, he should be.
Nice. Hey, Ken, you may run like Hayes, but you hit like shit. All right, it's a bad Lou Brown impression, but why not? This whole movie is filled with impressions. We're talking Major League.
Give him the heater, Ricky.
A great movie, which I've been really, really wanting to do, and unfortunately, we're doing it under some very sad circumstances.
Yeah, that's
losing Bob Uecker. But he was 90. The man had a great life.
It blows.
It does.
I must be sitting in the front row.
Down the front row.
Great film. Tag.
Less filling. Tastes great.
Oh yeah. Those ads that time on Johnny Carson. I mean, it was.
Oh my God.
He was great. He was so much fun. Everyone knew Bob Uecker.
He was.
And
the
Johnny
best.
Carson coined him Mr. Baseball.
Yeah, he's the best.
He is the best.
Who else on a late night in the summer? If I was lucky, on my Walkman, I could catch the signal just right, and you could listen to Milwaukee Brewers baseball.
Oh, WTMJ.
On the radio, and you could hear Bob Uecker call the game. I mean, come on now. It doesn't get any better than that.
Well, besides the death of Mr. Baseball himself, what have you guys been doing this week? How about you, Ken?
I was out of Vegas for a few days.
Vegas, baby. That's right.
Vegas,
had
baby.
A good time. Sang on stage. Had a residency for about 2 hours.
Nice.
And then as far as what I've been watching, mainly the TV show Evo. I finished the first season and I'm in the second season right now. So how about you? Ted?
Ted's watched some movies. I watched Meet the Parents again, and I watched 40-Year-Old Virgin. Yeah, so I've watched a few things. And
the classics.
Yeah, it's you got to keep it light and airy.
Sure.
Haven't really watched a whole lot of series. My brother-in-law and sister finished. I guess there's a show called Virgin River on Netflix.
Oh yeah, Jennifer watches that religiously with her mom.
So she says
it's okay, but it's
it
family friendly. It's family friendly.
It is what it is. I kind of
got a cult following. People love it.
I kind of dug it a little bit. It was okay, so I caught on. So what about you, Eric?
Pretty simple week for me. You'll appreciate this, Ted. I got through seasons 2 and 3 of The Mandalorian.
Hey, there you go.
Little baby Grogu. I'm hooked. I see it now. Yeah. Watched Aaron Brockovich. We'll be looking at that one down the road. I watched a movie. You guys might know this, might not know this. It's from 1985. It's a Martin Scorsese film called After Hours. I saw a trailer for it, and I thought
of it.
Supposedly a comedy, but I'll be honest, it's not real funny and it's not real good. It's got Griffin Dunn, Rosanna Arquette, Terry Garr, a bunch of other cameos in it. It looked great from the attractions, and I watched it, and I wasn't blown away by it. And then I finished the week.
The one Terry Garr movie we haven't done?
Yeah, she's probably in a good chunk of the movie, but we don't need to do it. Don't worry about it. And then last year's release of The Fall Guy.
Oh, is it funny?
It's not as bad as people say it is. I actually found it a little entertaining. It's a little hokey, but it was a good 2-hour time killer. I actually enjoyed it. So yeah,
I like Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, I do too.
But I think he's good.
The critics just ripped this thing to shreds, but it was fun. It was a fun movie. I enjoyed it. So, do you guys remember the first time you saw this movie? Because I remember the first time I saw this movie.
Well, I was probably in 7th or 8th grade. Probably somewhere between 92, 93, so a little bit after it came out originally. Probably was a little young to see it, but okay, that doesn't matter. I love baseball movies, so yeah, I was a big baseball movie guy, so I watched this religiously every year.
Ken?
Cable.
Man, big surprise.
Yeah.
Shocking. I saw this one with my father in the theater. First
No
run.
way, really?
Yeah, first run. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. I'm glad one of us saw it in a movie theater.
Yes, one of the few movies. There's maybe only been like a handful of movies I've actually seen in a theater, but this is one of them. Oh man, it was a packed house and everyone loved it. Oh my goodness.
Did everybody start singing Wild Thing and everything?
No, they did not.
No?
No, the crowd did.
Goodness.
No, they did not sing Wild Thing. So, but it was fun.
Ken
over
here is the owner of the Indians now. He says he
can't
stand
that version of that song is why I'm not a big fan of that version. The original version by the Trogs is the way you have to go.
There's something...
But that song is so slow, the Trogs version.
Right, but there's something iconic about the Major League version of that song. It's really freaking cool.
With the owner, I hate this fucking song.
I hate this fucking song.
I like the reaction of it. It's awesome.
I do too. All right, gentlemen, what qualifies you to review this movie? We'll kick it off with Ted.
I actually know someone who owns a Ricky Vaughn Cleveland Indians jersey.
It's you, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Don't lie, it's you.
But don't think that it hasn't crossed my mind.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the cardboard cutout of the owner.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
That's now that, or of Rene Russo. So.
Or a cardboard cutout of Rene Russo? Interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, exactly.
That borderlines on stalker there.
Well,
how about you, Ken?
I was the board operator for the Kane County Cougars when they were on AM radio.
Nice.
Look at you.
Nice.
Actually, I should say FM radio. FM radio.
Ken Uecker over here.
Ken Uecker. For me, I was thinking about this. I actually have been to the old county stadium the year before. Yeah, the year before they knocked it down.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep. Literally forgot about it until like about half hour ago. I'm like, wait a minute. I've been to that stadium. I've been to the new one too.
Yeah.
But that's one of the few old stadiums that I've been to. The old Sox Stadium.
Yeah.
And we lost Jeff Torborg too.
Yeah, I just saw that this morning that he died.
I actually met Jeff Torborg.
Really? That's cool.
I did. Yeah. The year before they tore down the old stadium, one of my friend's fathers used to do a bunch of work with the White Sox, and we actually had a meet and greet with him. I got a really creepy, oh my goodness. It's a picture of me, and I got the big, thick Coke bottle glasses on.
Oh, yeah.
It was before I had my contacts. Me with Jeff Torborg and my friends. Oh, it is such a creepy photo. Oh,
but that's still pretty freaking cool.
You made my special wall.
As he should.
Yeah.
Right? Any Sox
White
player.
Sox fan. Yeah.
Right.
What wall did he?
The death wall.
Death wall.
Ken's
Death Watch.
I thought you had a wall in your room or something.
Oh, his shrine
Yeah.
to
people have died.
yes.
Why is Ted's picture already up there?
I don't know. Why is that?
Because a little over a year ago, I did almost die.
Yeah.
It's Ken's Deadpool, right?
Premature putting it up there. I haven't taken it down yet. So.
Oh no,
it's wishful thinking, I guess. So.
Oh, well, you want to kill Ted? Oh no,
man! No, I pay others to do that.
Man. Yes.
It's just
fun.
Me on Ken's death wall, that's just a bit outside.
Just a bit outside.
Just a bit outside.
All right. If you're listening to this podcast, you're probably listening to on one of many, many, many platforms. Many. We are on YouTube. Surprise, surprise. No video.
No video of us, though.
Just audio for now. Maybe video down the road. You can give us your 2 cents. On Facebook, whether you want to see our ugly mugs on video.
Nobody wants to see that, Eric.
You'd be surprised. We have a great Facebook chat there, and we are also on Twitter, X, the Dorkening Network. We're out and about. We love to hear from you. We do take a little constructive criticism here and there.
If you want to come at me, bro.
That's right. Anything new on Facebook, Ken? Any new exciting?
Anybody die today? Who did you
Not
kill
yet,
today?
But the
day's still young. That's right. It's like, how you feeling over there, Ted?
The fun thing is trying to find new ways to try to kill him. So,
right.
Kind of like the Roadrunner and the Coyote, right?
Exactly.
So, that makes Ken Judge Sluggo. So, yeah.
I think of that, and I think of the Family Guy bit where the Coyote actually catches the Roadrunner.
Yeah,
and he's like all depressed.
I love the Family Guy. Oh my God, it's so funny.
Well, Ted, why don't you tell us the particulars of Major League? I know you're itching to.
The particulars, of course.
Particulars. Let's do it.
Of course, I'm itching.
There's a cream for that.
He uses the wrong cream. That's why he itches.
Yeah, so. Well, and that's how I load up the ball too. So, So Major League is directed by David S. Ward with a screenplay by David S. Ward. The music and score was by James Newton Howard. It has a running time of 106 minutes. It was released April 7th, 1989, so real close to opening day, I'm assuming. So that's good timing for them. It had a budget of $11 million. It had a box office gross of a very respectable $75 million. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has a certified fresh critic score of 83% and an audience score of 84%. So right in line with each other.
It's a winner.
It is. However, the IMDb rating is a 7.2. We don't usually see where the IMDb rating differs from the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, but it does a little bit here. Major League stars: Tom Berenger gets the lead here as Jake Taylor, Charlie Sheen as Ricky Wild Thing Vaughn, and Corbin Burnson as Roger Dorn, Margaret Whitten as Rachel Phelps, James Gammon as Lou Brown, Renee Russo as Lynn Weslin, yes, exactly. The amazing Bob Uecker as Harry Doyle, Wesley Snipes as Willie Mays Hayes, Charles Cyphers as Charlie Donovan, Chelsea Ross as Eddie Harris, the President, Dennis Haysbert as Pedro Serrano. Up yours, Joe Boo.
Also the spokesperson for Allstate.
Yes, he is.
Mm-hmm.
Pete Vukovich as Haywood, the Yankees' first baseman, and Willie Mueller as Duke Simpson, the Yankees' relief pitcher, who looks a lot like Calvin Schiraldi. It's kind of creepy. And Stacey Carroll as Suzanne Dorn. That's also because SNL's 50 this year. Swing.
Nice play in there. Awesome. All right, Ken's Tidbits. What do you got for us, Ken?
Ken's Tidbits. Ken's Tidbits.
Well, not much on the tidbits part. Amazingly enough, it was hard to find out who got hired and why, and who else.
I just told you who got hired.
Well, but why is the factor, and who else was up for the roles? I really didn't get a lot out.
He wanted to recreate Platoon.
Yeah, because he got Tom Berenger and Charlie Sheen in it, but this time they don't try to kill each other. So.
No, that's true.
So this movie is based on a number of different ones, but my favorite one is based on the Rachel Phillips character. With her plan to move the Indians, was inspired by the real-life Minnesota Twins owner, Calvin Griffith. And in the 70s, during the planning stages of the Metrodome, Griffith had negotiated an escape clause at the team's lease, which said that if the Twins' home attendance fell under $1.4 million per year for 3 consecutive years, then he could take his team and leave.
I read this too. This motherfucker actually tried to pull this off.
Yeah, and he almost did it because he had 2 years where the attendance was underneath it, and he actually had an investment group from Tampa that bought up to 42% of the stock.
Freaking ridiculous.
But the situation got avoided. The Tampa Bay group sold its minority stocks to, I think it's Poled.
Yeah,
Carl Poled, and he was a banker. And
who's to say, the Metrodome got built, and then the Twins are able to cheat for the next 15, 20 years because of the white ceiling. No, they
So
did.
what we're saying is they should have probably been.
They should have stayed. They should have stayed in Minnesota. You don't do that to fans. You don't deliberately. Hey, Jerry Reinsdorf.
Do they really count?
Hey, Jerry Reinsdorf. You don't actually tank so the fans don't show up to the games.
And move you to Tampa.
Exactly. Well, so you could move into the Tropicana field.
Actually, the Jerry Reinsdorf would move him to Nashville.
So every bachelorette party can attend the games.
Yes.
There you go. Mm-hmm. David Ward adds Bob Uecker to play Harry Doyle in his film. Ward had chosen Uecker because of his acting work in the Miller Lite ads and on the sitcom in Mr. Belvedere.
Mr. Belvedere, yeah.
Yeah. He did not know until later that he had been the radio broadcaster for the Milwaukee Brewers for nearly 20 years.
How the hell did he not know that?
I actually, to be honest with you, up until this time, I didn't know that either.
Really?
I didn't know up until this movie came out. Yeah. I knew him from the commercials and Mr. Belvedere. I knew he was a baseball player.
I knew that.
I knew he was an ex-baseball player, but I did not know that he was an ongoing broadcaster.
Really?
I thought he was just a sports guy that turned actor.
Well, I knew he played for the Cardinals. That's why I knew, because he played briefly for them, and
he won a World Series with them, I think, too.
In '64,
64, yeah.
Started with the Milwaukee Braves and then was traded.
Yeah, but I knew that he was doing games.
I didn't know.
Radio. He's doing radio.
Radio, yeah, he did radio. That's.
I wasn't invested in the Milwaukee Brewers in any type of sense back in 1988, 89. So
neither were the Milwaukee Brewer fans.
Neither were the Milwaukee Brewers. After Robin Yount and Paul Molitor departed, that was pretty much.
And back then, the Milwaukee Brewers were in the American League.
I hate it when they change out of leagues. Milwaukee's always an American League team to me.
Well, because the Cardinals beat Milwaukee in 1982.
Yeah.
We always called it Chicago North. So White Sox fans would go up there to watch games.
It's cheaper for Cubs and White Sox fans to go up to Milwaukee to catch a game.
But they do charge more for parking when the Cubs are up there.
Oh, of course they do.
Yes.
Yeah.
They know their market. They know who's coming up there.
And they get very prickly when the Cubs fans come up and buy tickets too.
Yes, they do.
Anyhow.
So Charlie Sheen was actually a high school pitcher who was offered a baseball scholarship to the University of Kansas. In the movie, his character threw 101 miles per hour fastball, but in reality, Sheen could only throw in the high 80s, which made it, of course, easier for them to film it because he could actually throw a baseball.
Right.
Sheen actually said he actually took steroids, though, to get back his fastball that he, because he couldn't throw that hard anymore. Many years.
And drinking and doing a shitload of drugs.
There goes Ricky Vaughn going into the Hall of Fame.
Right.
And of course, they try to get Charlie Sheen to throw out a first pitch in the World Series.
I remember that.
I read this.
I remember that.
That actually pisses me off because Charlie Sheen actually said he was cool to actually do it too. And that would have been awesome for the Cubs Indians World Series in 2016 when they were going to do this.
It would have been.
That would have been epic. Are you kidding me?
Then you'd have to hear the Wild Things music.
Exactly. It would have been. That would have been so freaking cool.
I would have liked that.
That would have been so cool.
The whole cast of Major League out there.
That would have been so cool.
So the home games scenes were filmed at Milwaukee County Stadium.
Yep.
Which has since been, of course, torn down.
Boo.
Yeah, boo. And, of course, that's where the old Milwaukee Brewers and Milwaukee Braves used to play. But the exterior stadium shots were used at the Cleveland Municipal Stadium, which has also been torn down since. Yeah. So all these old ballparks going bye-bye.
Oh, yeah.
So it
did make me miss the Cleveland Indians logo, though. I have to admit. I miss
Wahoo.
It. I do like it. Sorry.
Guardians is stupid.
Guardians is stupid, but
so is Commanders. There, I said it.
The Commandos are stupid, but
they should have been called the Pigskins,
or they should have just disbanded the team
because they have a fan base that are the Hogs anyway, right?
Right.
So,
because
and Pigskin football, I mean, just made more sense.
All right, so here's a quick question: if you had an opportunity to watch a baseball game in one now defunct stadium, which stadium would you want to
Ebbets Field, Brooklyn.
God damn it, you took mine.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You knew I was going to take Ebbets Field. Come on.
I didn't know. You've been to all 32 of the teams.
I haven't been to Ebbets Field. That's a little before my time.
Because the history, it was called the Cathedral of Baseball.
I would have liked to gone to Old Yankee Stadium, though.
Yeah, that's another one.
In 72, they had a big rehab of the stadium.
Yeah,
reno.
I would have liked to have seen the Old Yankee Stadium before they put the Monument Park.
Yeah.
When it was actually in play.
What about you, Ken? You've been to the old Comiskey, haven't you?
Yeah. I mean, I agree with your assessment. That would be the one historic place that I would have liked to visit. But I think any baseball stadium in the 30s, that would have been interesting to see baseball being watched at.
How about Wrigley Field before they built it all up in like the 30s and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, the urinal? Yeah. It's...
the urinal? Nice.
The trough. Yeah.
Yeah, people diving in the urinal trough.
Oh dear God, that makes me want to vomit. But
yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not doing this because I'm a Sox fan, but I've been to the Wrigley Field back in the day, and I'm sorry, you walk in there and it smelled like urine.
Well, that's because you had big pee troughs. I mean,
I didn't go.
I guess it's better now.
It's much better now.
I went to Wrigley in 2002 with my dad. And it was cold as balls.
I went in the 90s.
It was an April game
with my friend Jay. We actually had Skybox tickets to see the Cubs versus the White Sox.
Hoity-toity. How far back in the 90s was that? Before the interleague?
I want to say it was
series,
about 96.
You didn't go back when it was like in the 80s? Because do you remember when they did that? It was just like a fun off day game that the Sox and the Cubs would play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that too. I wouldn't want to go back to the old Busch Stadium.
No?
Especially when it had the AstroTurf.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
All the old 70s stadiums are pretty bad, tired.
You want to talk about heat? We sat like third deck, but you could still feel the heat off of the field. It was so bad. AstroTurf ruined baseball.
Astrodome, yay.
The Astrodome, yeah, Astrodome.
There you go. Okay, let's talk about the setup. Former Las Vegas showgirl Rachel Phelps inherits the struggling Cleveland Indians baseball team from her deceased husband. She intends to move the team to Miami by exploiting an escape clause in their contract with the city of Cleveland. If their season attendance falls below a certain number, she can terminate the lease and move the team. She plans to create the worst team in Major League history, instructing team executives to fire the current players and replace them with rookies and veterans long past their prime. She starts hiring Lou Brown, a 30-year-old manager of the AAA Toledo Mudhens, who runs a tire store, in the off-season. Spring training begins in Tucson, Arizona, with Phelps' list of players likely to fail. Jake Taylor, a former all-star catcher with bad knees. Third baseman Roger Dorn, a prima donna, more concerned with his financial portfolio than playing good baseball. Aging starting pitcher Eddie Harris, who has resorted to doctoring the baseball. Outfielder Pedro Serrano, a voodoo-practicing power slugger who has trouble hitting breaking balls. Speedy outfielder Willie Mays Hayes, who can steal bases but cannot hit. And rookie pitcher sensation Ricky Vaughn, Wild Thing, an ex-con, who has a 100-mile-per-hour fastball but no control, earning him the nickname Wild Thing. That's a pretty good synopsis of the setup there.
This is an awesome setup. Are you kidding me? Do you get introduced to all the players? Some of these guys are dead.
Yes,
mark them off the
cross
list.
them off then.
Yes. Do you picture like the White Sox owners actually like mirroring this movie?
I do.
Yeah.
Last year. Exactly.
Looking for that attendance to fall below. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I looked at the attendance. It was 1.3 million for 2024.
I don't know how they...
But they weren't dead last, were they?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah. No,
were they? I
thought
Tampa was dead last.
Worst record of all time?
They lost.
No. I meant attendance.
Oh, attendance.
And Tampa Bay's actually getting a new stadium.
Eventually.
I don't know how
have
that's
to
going to
now,
happen.
right?
Yeah.
If you're an 80s baseball fan, you have Gaylord Perry, which is the guy that doctors the ball.
literally, and he looks like him too.
Right, and you have a huge home run hitter that can't hit a curveball, old catcher.
Yep.
And you have Ricky Henderson.
Yeah, right.
Except Ricky Henderson was an all-time great player. I mean, let's be honest, he was one of the greatest.
And you have a coach that's really been around the league, not Major League Baseball, but an old guy.
And Ricky Henderson is another player that we just recently lost too.
Yeah, yes. I know, which that really sucks too.
Yeah.
By the way, Oakland Athletics, 920,000.
We forgot about Oakland. Those people were talking about protesting.
Yeah,
they all showed up for the last game. There, 900,000 of that was for just the last game.
Correct. Yes.
I should have remembered that.
Yeah, Oakland. Wow, they'd have like 5,000-6,000 people if they're lucky per game.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Now that they're playing in a minor league ballpark, let's see how good their attendance will be now.
But that park holds 12,000 people.
So at least they'll have people in the stands.
Hopefully.
I think Sacramento will come out for them.
Oh, yeah.
I love the different characters. I think
this is like watching Bull Durham, kind of, in a way.
But different, yeah.
But the personalities. You have personalities.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, these characters have personality. And I think that goes a long way. You start to like them. I think it's great. I think it's hilarious. I think the characters are all written very well, amazingly enough.
I look at the character Eddie Harris, who's the pitcher with the Crisco and the Vagisil.
Yeah,
I have to admit that Vagisil, like when I was younger, that went over my head. In later years, when I found out that's what it's also on the side of him, I was just like, "Oh, that's funny." Even though these characters, it's a comedy. Like you said, this is 80s baseball. This is how people were trying to make a living playing a game. Tom Berenger's character talks about him making the minimum, which was at that time, I think, $30,000.
No, it was $68,000.
Was it 68?
Yeah, the average household income in America was $30,000. So you're still making well above what the average American household is. But
still, it's a lot less than what you would make now at the league
inflation,
minimum.
League minimum now is what, like 500,000, something like that?
It's 650.
It's insane, yeah.
Crazy insane. But I like how they introduce each character. You have Rick Vaughn, he's in prison. It's going to be difficult to get to spring training.
Yeah.
Jake Killer, he's in Mexico. He even tells one of the players later on that he couldn't hack it in the Mexican League.
Right.
The prima donna who doesn't want to get hurt because of investments and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So I do think
Corbin
they do.
Burnsen's really
He's a good
bad guy.
Character. He's a good person to dislike.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In the movie, I just love Lou. Them calling up him at the shop, and he's like, "Do you want to be the manager of the Indians?" He's like, "I don't know." Can I call you
what do you
back?
mean you don't know? Yeah.
Can I call you back? I got a guy on the other line about white walls.
I like the setup with the owner giving her philosophy with the board at the table there. I think that's a funny setup of what her real plans are. And then, of course, the running gag. You've got the construction workers. These guys don't look too fucking good. And you got the Asian. What are they?
The groundskeeper.
They're always shitty. Yeah, the fans are. I mean, the fans are the funniest too.
Well, they set everything up showing the history of the Cleveland Indians not winning anything since 1948 was it? So,
yeah,
they still haven't won anything.
That's right.
No, they lost in 2016. They blew it.
It was an act of God.
Yes, it was. It was a rain delay.
Rain delay.
Yeah. Even God wanted the Cubs to win.
The joke ran long enough.
So the picture on the wall depicted the last time they won the World Series.
Yes.
I guess that would be Die Hard Night, right?
Yeah, Die Hard Night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just remember, anybody who's still alive when they won, it gets free admission.
Right.
So. I thought it was anybody who came dressed as Hans Gruber.
And actually, if you think about it, even in this movie, they don't win the World Series; they just win the division.
Right.
That's enough. You beat the Yankees, right?
Well, no, they win the pennant, so they're going to the World Series.
We don't know who they're playing though.
Actually, they don't win the pennant. They tie for first place.
That's right.
In the division.
Oh, that's right, because they're in the Yankees division.
Right. Yeah. I like not only Lou Brown when I talk about, him at the auto, tire place, right?
Tire World,
yeah. But when you see him actually managing the team, he's a real manager. She doesn't do her homework enough to realize that this guy actually can manage.
Because it's supposed to sound like a joke, but she says that he's coached the Toledo Mudhens for 30 years. The Toledo Mudhens are a AAA affiliate. So it's not that big of a jump for him to go from coaching the Toledo Mudhens to coaching in the Major League
So in the off season, he manages Tire World.
Because back then, good God, minor league players now get paid like dog crap. So
they get a little bit better now because of the contract that they negotiated recently.
Finally,
and also because minor league baseball has got rid of some teams.
They're not part of the players' union. Minor league players have been abused for a long time.
But they're better off now than they have been.
Yes. The teams that are successful, the Dodgers, the Cardinals, they take care of their minor league affiliates and pay them better.
But what about the Indians? Not so much.
When we were in the 80s growing up, the Indians sucked.
Oh, yeah. They were a joke. They sucked in the 70s, too.
Yeah, they
never
were
had any star players.
It wasn't until the 90s. In the 90s, they became a big time rival to the White Sox. So the White Sox and them were the best teams in the mid 90s, and then you had the strike in '94, which kind of screwed everything up.
Yeah, they had the human rain delay become their coach.
Thinking about these players, though, I really enjoy looking at some of. I love watching Vaughn throwing practice throws against a fake hitter.
Yes, that's great.
And then him hitting him in the groin. But first he hits him in the groin, and he kind of tilts back and forth like it would actually
over.
Like a real person would if he got hit.
Right.
It was really funny. And we got all those little ball marks that are all over him, and then, like you said, he finally takes his head off. Yeah,
I like it when Vaughn first throws the pitch. He's got Lou Brown and the pitching coach on either side of Jake Taylor, and he's like, "Nice velocity." Sounded like it.
Yeah, they didn't move. That's what's
didn't
so
budge.
funny about it. They
didn't budge. Right.
Yeah. He's a more violent Nuke LaLoosh.
Nuke LaRouche, yes.
The coach that I was thinking of is Mike Hargrove.
Who was first baseman for the
human rain delay.
Yeah.
But you know what the Indians were known for the longest time was the infamous 5-cent beer night. They had 5-cent beer night, and it caused a riot. And it ended up with the Texas Rangers and the Indians huddled around the pitcher's mound defending themselves from the crowd. Because it was also, not only was it 5-cent beer night, it was hand out souvenir bat night. And we're not talking about the little bats. This is when they handed out real bats.
So weapons and beer.
The people rioted.
Oh my goodness, that's
awesome!
It's worse than Disco Demolition
Night.
That's awesome.
Because this happened during the game.
5-cent unlimited beers, right? Just here's $1. Give me 20.
Somebody was talking about it, and they were talking about it, and they said, "We need to go out and rally the troops around the guys that are on the field because they're going to get killed."
That's crazy.
That never happened again.
Oh, I'm sure it didn't.
During spring training, though, we see a lot of interesting things. It does pull a little on the Bull Durham type of strings here and there, which is good. It legitimizes it a little bit. It doesn't make it a full-blown comedy. It kind of puts some realism in it, especially with people worried about getting red tagged. You got Serrano there. That's with the snake.
Back when you could still smoke in a locker room.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah.
Willie Mays Hayes has to do push-ups if he hits the ball in the air,
which he does during the actual spring training game.
Right. Which is that's hilarious and awesome. But you also have Lou Brown going up to Corbin Burns' character, Dorn's character, and telling him, "You get in front of the ball, or I'm going to make you
calisthenics." Yeah.
Yeah. And then when Dorn comes up to him and says, "It's in my contract. No calisthenics," and Lou Brown pees on his contract. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I like it when they do take Billy Mays Hayes, when they take him out of when he's sleeping, they just pull the bed up and just like put him outside of
because he wasn't invited. He wasn't invited to
spring
camp.
training. Yeah.
Yeah.
He just showed up as a little VW. It's very
with
funny.
the Rolls Royce front on it. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
That's such a Ricky Henderson thing, though.
He's like, say hey.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I love this. I love it.
The introductions to the players is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first part of this movie, I think, is probably the best part of the movie because it's the most fun that we get to have. It's because everybody sucks at being baseball players. Most of them are fish out of water because most of them have never played baseball before, and the people that are still there are no good.
Past their prime.
They're way past their prime.
Yeah.
How come Serrano's here? All right, throw him a curveball.
Right. Can't hit a curveball.
But still,
a breaking ball. Can't hit a breaking ball.
Breaking ball.
Yeah.
Somehow, these players that can't hit a ball, can't throw a ball down the middle, make the starting lineup. They're still the best that they have.
Yes.
And you feel bad for the one guy who they show that doesn't make the team.
Yeah.
He probably says, "Man, I fucking suck at this game.
I
need to go sell tires."
Right.
This guy over here can't hit a curveball. This guy can't even pitch the ball down the middle, and I'm the one that gets cut.
Exactly.
Got one guy who hits the ball up in the air every single time.
Well, he has such a severe uppercut.
They said that what's his name?
Wesley Snipes couldn't hit.
Wesley
he couldn't
Snipes
play baseball at all.
Couldn't play baseball at all.
They said he couldn't throw a baseball, which I find that amazing because in White Men Can't Jump and in what was the Goldie Hawn football movie with him and
Wildcats.
He actually can do those two things. And he couldn't throw a baseball? I mean, come on, man. Wildcats is a funny movie, too.
It is.
It's hard to think about, Wesley Snipes being in that movie, because I think that movie's 1985.
Oh, God, yeah.
Wildcats is 85,
Yeah, it's him and Woody Harrelson. It was their first movie together.
Why don't we go ahead and go to the build?
Let's do
build us up, Eric. Build us up.
I will build us up.
We need to talk about Bob Uecker. So
this is where we get Mr. Uecker in here. So
give us
early on, the players struggle to come together as a team with a feud developing between Dorn and Vaughn, but they win some games under Brown and Taylor's leadership. They discover that Vaughn has poor eyesight, and once fitted with glasses, he becomes a dominant pitcher. Team morale and performance improve, so Phelps cancels several amenities, but they continue to build on their strengths. Meanwhile, Taylor reconnects with his old girlfriend, Lynn, and tries to rekindle their relationship, even though she is engaged to be married. Nearly 3/4 of the way through the season, the team is 60-61, exceeding expectations, and fans have begun to fill the stands. At this point, Phelps' general manager, Charlie Donovan, tired of her manipulations, reveals her scheme to Brown, who then relays the message to the team. To thwart Phelps' plan, Taylor decides that the only thing left to do is to win the whole fucking thing. Wow. Direct quote. Yes,
it is.
Think about they have to go 32-8.
Yeah.
The rest of the way to win the whole freaking thing.
Exactly.
So, I wanted to touch base a little bit on something that we didn't do on the build, which is Ricky Vaughn's and Corbin Burson's characters' interaction. You have two situations where players are not getting along.
The rookie and the veteran. Yeah.
Yeah, the rookie and the veteran. You got the pitcher with the Crisco.
Eddie
Gaylord Perry.
Yeah, the Gaylord Perry stand-in. Yeah. Eddie Harris. Yeah. He doesn't like Serrano.
He doesn't like Serrano because of his practicing voodoo, and
What do you mean Jesus couldn't hit a curveball?
I love it too. He's sitting here, he wants to have his prayer, but he's reading like Playboy on the Hustler on the plane.
Yes, exactly.
Drinking rum. Yeah.
And every time something goes, like when the explosion happens, he goes, Jesus Christ, and he's just taking the Lord's name in vain left and right.
Yeah.
He steals the rum, which later on gets him hit by a baseball bat.
That's all.
Hey, Joe, hey, bartender, Joe Boo needs a refill. Yeah, it's funny.
But then you have Dorn and Vaughn. Dorn's just a complete asshole to Vaughn right off the bat. Yeah. In fact, he puts that red sticker in his locker to make him seem like he had been cut by the team.
Right.
So they have animosity to begin with.
Especially in the 80s, if you hear guys talk about what it was like in the clubhouse and stuff, that's light what Corbin Burnson's character does to Ricky. I mean, you hear about some of the stuff that the guys did back then. It was brutal.
I think getting somebody to believe that they got cut from a baseball team is one of the worst things that you could possibly do.
Yeah.
I think putting stuff like for instance in Revenge of the Nerves, where they put, itch powder in the
liquid
chops
heat.
And stuff. Liquid heat, yeah, stuff like that. I mean, that's nothing compared to tell somebody that their dreams have been taken away from them. That is a little too far. I think
it's mean. He's mean-spirited.
Very
mean-spirited, yeah.
I think though too that there's some jealousy that, this guy's young and he's
got some talent
and he's old and he's at the end of his career. It's typical. I think it's actually a good representation of that sort of thing.
It's superiority.
I think of Dorn's character as a character who was a good player at one time, gets that big contract, and then just coast.
Well, that's what Jake Taylor says.
Yeah.
I liked you when you were just a ball player, right? Mm-hmm. So, but you need characters like Dorn because not everybody can get along on a baseball team, right? You got 25, 26 players, and all of them have different personalities. Some are going to collide with each other.
True.
I think, like I said, and it's good that they had more than one confrontation here. I think just having one is not enough. I think having two makes a lot more sense.
Having that friction helps.
Well, it makes it more
believable.
Exactly. It's more reality of a baseball team. Not everyone is going to get along on any team. We know that.
Baseball's an individual sport parading as a team sport. One player doesn't rely on another player to hit the ball.
True.
Or
but
field
one
ball.
Player can't carry you to a World Series. You have to be a team.
Yeah.
If there's one sport that is really team oriented, it maybe is baseball. I mean, football too.
Is the ultimate team sport.
But baseball, I think, is harder to win a World Series than football is.
Hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in sports,
especially accurately.
Because in football, if you have, let's say, a great quarterback, you have a leg up on everybody else.
Right.
Whereas if you have an ace pitcher, it means that you have a leg on everybody else every 5 days. Yeah.
Right. Every fifth day.
So what I think this movie does a great job of, it's a little bit slapstick at the beginning with spring training, right? It focuses on the absurdity of these players and them being in spring training. But you can't do it into the regular season for long. Then it becomes a pure, comedy that's more about hijinks and more Naked Gun and Airplane than anything, right? But then they pivot over to Bob Uecker for the comedy, and I think it's great
what
that they do that.
What the owner does to them,
right?
too.
The different things the owner does to keep them from succeeding, because they are starting to gel as a team because they are managed well. Like Ricky figures, hey, his eyesight is bad, right?
Hey, read this, Ricky.
Yeah.
The only thing that they don't really do a good job of is getting Serrano to hit a curveball. Everybody else, they kind of figure out. I don't know how he makes it through the whole year.
Bets are afraid of curveball
because people will know that he doesn't hit a curveball. How can you send him up there to bat every single time? And
they don't have anybody else to throw up there.
I guess not.
Yeah.
Well, he plays right field, right? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So I mean, he plays an important position. So.
Yeah, but we don't know how well he plays it. They never really go into detail on that. Before we get to Bob Uecker, because I like to save him for the end here of the section of the movie, I do want to talk about the owners and the different things she does to try to make them lose. Yeah, screw with them. I mean, they have to be surprised of all the things that she comes up with. There's no hot water. My favorite part is the airplane when they're taking tape.
Yeah, putting it around the prop. Yeah.
I would have thought. At that point, I'm like, she wants us to die, right? Because this looks like the plane that Leonard Skinner decided to take.
Exactly. And there's no real seats in it either. It's just
exactly.
It's quite funny.
Even the guys that are okay with flying are white-knuckling it.
Right.
I mean, the whole team is terrified.
Well, you got the storm, and of course, that's the perfect thing to show us right at the first thing is that they're flying through a storm. Would you fly above the storm? I guess you can't. On that
that plane probably can't get above the storm.
I have probably can't. It's like that plane looks like something. The last time the Indians World Series.
It's probably from the '48 season. It probably is because it is the Indians' plane, right?
That and the bus.
The bus.
Things being held together with duct tape.
I would not be in a tub
with a boat
prop.
Motor.
Yeah, it's a little ballsy. Gonna lose them
with an Evinrude.
Yeah.
Well, my thing with that is somebody's going to have to air out the room because of the fumes.
The carbon monoxide. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Everybody's going to die.
Crazy.
But yeah, no, she's just fucking with him, and it's bullshit. And you feel that that she's just being a dick.
Oh yeah.
She's taking it out on these guys that we now like. So we start to feel with them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And because had they not set everything up right, we wouldn't care what she did to them. But because we like these guys and the characters are written well, you feel with them, and you're like, what the hell are they doing to our guy? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Well, if she really wanted them to lose, why doesn't she take players that are just doing well and cut them, send them down to the minors or whatever the case may be? She's the owner. She can do whatever she wants.
Yeah, she can.
I think they're just scrappy enough. They're not good enough to trade, but they're not bad enough to lose all the time. Yeah, they're kind of like the Miami Marlins in a way.
The Marlins.
Or the Pittsburgh Pirates is probably a good way to put them. It's like they're just good enough to be good, but not to shut them down. She's kind of stuck. I think we kind of get to her frustration, too, with being stuck, because she got all of these bad guys, or people she deemed as bad, but the person that's actually made them good is the person that's running the team.
The coach.
And Lou.
Lou Brown.
Right. And she doesn't get that. Doesn't understand that. So if there was a person that could have been cut, it would have been Lou.
See, that would have been the case. You fire the manager and the rest of the team would probably fold.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There might be things that she needs to avoid to get too much of investigation on her on why she's doing certain things that she's doing, right?
Trying to tank the attendance and everything.
There's part of me that wishes there was a little bit more of her throughout the movie. She's a really good bad guy in this particular movie.
She's a good foil.
Yeah. I like her. The type of character she is, I think it's well done.
Especially the scene where she walks into the clubhouse.
Right.
Yes.
What are these guys? Some kind of pansies?
Yeah, she definitely plays that part very well.
I'm
talking to jocks. You are. Yes. I'm too old to run to the lockers. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
she hits Charlie Sheen in the cup.
Right. Cups still work. Yeah.
Cups still work. But she doesn't care, if they're naked or whatever.
No,
she has so much confidence in herself.
Yeah.
I just like it. I think she probably killed her husband anyway.
She probably did. Yes, she probably did.
Most likely. The way she's different because I guess in a way she's patterned after Georgia Frontier and that the owner of the LA Rams.
Except the Rams did a great job.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and she actually wanted to win.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so the whole showgirl thing, I guess, is what they were going for there.
You'd think, though, at one point where she realizes she can't stop it, that she just goes with it.
Embrace it. Yeah.
Make some money out of it, right? I mean, and now you're going to want them to lose just to spite them.
Yeah, they have to supplement their income by doing the American Express commercial.
Yes.
Yeah, because she's not paying them.
Which is funny because the one person, the high paid profile guy, Corbin Burnsen's character, he's the one that can't act.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Like everybody else can act, and he's the one that just can't pull it off. But he's the one that's hoping commercial life after baseball and stuff like that. So.
Right. If I had to think about somebody who that character was patterned off of, Steve Garvey.
What? What are you talking about?
Because Steve Garvey was a dick in his when he was old. He thought he was going to be hot shit when he retired, and he never did announcing or anything like that.
Steve Garvey's my favorite player of all time.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm about ready to say that.
Yes.
I don't need to kill you, Ted.
Steve Garvey is my favorite player of all time. Yeah.
Yeah, he loves Steve
I've never heard anybody say that Steve Garvey.
I know he was a womanizer when he was playing ball, and
that's why he idolizes him.
Well,
who wasn't? Well, yeah.
Yeah, but he got caught. Cindy Garvey dropped him like a bad habit.
Yeah, big time. He got caught.
You know, he ran for U.S. Senate seat in California.
Did he really?
You didn't hear about this?
No.
He ran against the incumbent and Democratic incumbent in California.
Oh, Adam Schiff?
Yeah, he ran against Adam Schiff.
No.
Yeah, he got the Republican nod, and he actually did fairly well. He did not win.
Oh,
but
dear God.
Yeah, I thought you would have known that. Yeah.
No.
I can see where you're coming from with the Roger Dorn kind of.
Yeah.
Because Garvey had that all-American apple pie look, and so did Roger Dorn. He tried to press himself as the perfect household. He cheated on his wife. Dorn did. Garvey did. So yes, okay, I will give that to you. And that maybe that was patterned after Garvey.
Yeah, and like Dan Marino, he wanted to do commercials. Because Garvey did commercials for, was it Right Guard? I remember, because I remember back in the day, I remember seeing him in commercials and stuff. And then you hear that he's just kind of a tool. Sometimes.
I do think the best one, Harris's, is clearly Gaylord Perry. I mean, it is, and he looks like him too.
Yes,
which
he does.
It is so great. I mean,
And the fucked up thing is, Gaylord Perry didn't need to do what he did to the ball.
No, he didn't, but he did.
He was actually a really good pitcher.
I get it. And so was his brother, Jim Perry. Yeah,
and Refrigerator Perry.
And Refrigerator Perry, yeah.
But Refrigerator wasn't his real name. I love those commercials, by the way, with the bad Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
So
what's Jerry eating?
What's Jerry eating? Rice. Those are the best commercials. Yes, I will. I will give McConaughey that. Yes.
So getting back to the movie, now we could talk about the star of the film here.
The man himself. Yes.
The man, the myth, the legend.
The man who makes this movie, clearly, is Bob Uecker.
Oh, he brings everything together here.
He does.
From him taking the Jack Daniels and putting it behind his ears, like putting
totally
it
improvised. Totally improvised.
Exactly. Yes. Because he thought that this guy would have been the kind of guy that would have put Jack Daniels behind his ears as perfume, as cologne.
But he wasn't a drinker in real life. He didn't. No. He might have had a beer.
He was not a drinker, exactly, and he did the Bud Light commercials or the Miller Lite commercials for so long.
He said he might have had a beer here or there on air, but in general,
that's harmless. Yes,
but yeah,
he was nothing like some of those Cardinals players in '64. They could put it away.
Well, he needs to be sharp. He always needs to. I think he always wants to be at his best, and alcohol, loosen us up and everything like that. But he's already loosened up. He doesn't need alcohol to make him tell funny jokes or to be funny. And I think
he's naturally funny.
Yeah, if he was drinking, I think that would take away from what he does really well.
And the fact that he was the Brewers announcer for so many years, this is just a day at the park for him.
He's definitely not Mike Shannon.
Wasn't it 50 years plus?
50. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
71, I think he started announcing.
Okay.
He was closing in. Well, he wasn't anywhere near Vince Scully, but
no.
I think he was like number 2, or he was close. But no, he's definitely not Mike Shannon. You guys probably never listened to the Cardinals radio broadcast, but about halfway through the game, Mike was toasted.
Liquored up, huh?
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was as bad as some of the Harry Carey stuff.
Oh, Harry scary.
And Harry wouldn't hide it when he was on TV. He would just come out and say it. But yeah, Mike Shannon, oh boy. I'm not saying Joe Namath-esque, but yeah, he'd get toasted. It always made the radio broadcast interesting for the Cardinals. Well, and then you had Jack Buck. Jack Buck is iconic. Bob Uecker here is amazing. He's legitimately hilarious. And a lot of his stuff was improvised. They just let him go.
A lot of stuff he did, he said that it would be normal things that he would do at a baseball game anyway. So it was natural for him to say stuff like a bit outside.
Just a bit outside.
Yeah, and it just...
I think we got hosed on that call.
Right, yes,
right.
Yeah.
The only thing we didn't get was, he missed the tag.
That is one of my favorite scenes when Willie Mays Hayes steals a base and he doesn't make it this second. The guy's like, come on. Yes. Come on. I love that.
And then you got all the other like writers next to him, and they like give him thumbs up on that,
yeah.
on that hit.
Yes.
I guess there was a lot of things that he said and did that they filmed and didn't use, and also that they didn't film. You know, it's like,
I want to see all of it. I want to see all of the outtakes.
Kind of wish that there was just more of it, but he carries the second part of this film. The first part of the film is more kind of slapstick. The second part of this film is the comedy comes basically from Bob Uecker, and he's amazing at it because it's deadpan,
like an announcer,
an announcer. Yeah.
Haywood leads the league in most offensive categories, including nose hair.
Right.
Yeah.
Bond, a juvenile delinquent in the off season.
Yes.
So.
And then what's the relief picture? He goes, he threw at his own kid in a father-son game.
Right.
It just seems natural. I think that's why we like him in this movie, is it just everything he does doesn't feel scripted. It feels like he's really announcing a baseball.
It doesn't even feel like he has a script. It's almost like they just said, you know what, just go.
And he's so iconic. Who in the 80s didn't say, down in the front row?
Yes, exactly. I mean, I must be in the front row.
Must be in the front row. Yeah.
I use that line all the time.
I mean, I want to go to Milwaukee and sit next to the statue. I mean, that if I'm going to go to see a baseball game, I'm going to go do that. He's not going to talk
to you.
He might.
He said in an interview, I think it's on the Blu-ray, that he hopes that, you know, when they do like anniversaries and stuff, that they like basically bring his coffin out. If I hear them messing with my coffin, I know they're celebrating like the anniversary or something. And I was sitting there and I was really sad watching it because of the fact that he's gone now. He's one of the few celebrities that I think you love him because you really believe he is a beautiful human being.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's the Don Rickles of baseball. You know, for baseball.
All his comedy is self-deprecating against himself.
Yes.
He doesn't take himself seriously, which is the whole funny thing of it.
Right.
He doesn't have an ego.
Yeah, I've never heard anybody have a crossword for him.
Yeah.
Players from the other teams, when they would go to Milwaukee, sought him out to do interviews and things like that. Because he's amazing. We would talk about Cardinals catchers. I wish he would have gotten the nod to be an announcer on TV over.
Didn't you guys have Tim McCarver? Yeah.
Because Tim McCarver was
he did do some NBC stuff. He did do some national
way back in the day.
Yeah.
Saturday's Game of the Week?
Yeah.
He did some stuff for their minor league hockey team too.
Yeah, the Admirals, Milwaukee Admirals, yeah.
He could have easily had his own talk show, but he loved baseball. The only thing that I don't care for when he was in Mr. Belvedere, because for me, I felt like it wasn't him. I felt like it took away from what he was.
Well, it was 100% scripted, obviously.
It was different. I still remember him on Mr. Belvedere, and I thought it was funny. I actually liked it as a kid.
At the time, I thought it was a very good show.
Yeah,
I haven't watched definitely your stereotypical 80s sitcom. It's
like Full House.
Pretty much, yes.
Webster.
Laugh tracks, yes.
Like the line that we said earlier about, this is brought to you by... I can't find it. The hell with it.
Yes.
Nobody's listening anymore.
Yes, exactly. Right. Yeah. You can't say that.
It's things that we still say today, 35, 40 years later. We are still saying, just a bit outside. It's embedded in us in the best way possible.
This past season, I had the MLB package, and I was listening to Jim Palmer and the Orioles play-by-play guy. And they did just a bit outside thing.
Did they? Yeah.
Yeah. You can't listen to broadcasting without hearing Bob Uecker in some way.
Yeah.
What I think summarizes Bob Uecker up is the end of the season when Milwaukee won the division title. and they just surrounded Bob Uecker, the team and the manager and everybody, and they were celebrating him. It was more like they were celebrating him than they were celebrating that they won the division. That just speaks tons about the kind of person
Haywood hits that one all the way to South America.
Trying to need a visa.
There's some good lines in Major League 2, which I know we won't mention because it's a different movie. That movie does not hold a candle to this movie at all, but there are some good Uecker lines in it.
I think the reason why it doesn't work in the second movie is because it doesn't have the same formula.
Yep.
Which this movie is a movie that starts off, the players are bad. It's funny how bad they are. Uecker takes over and keeps it funny for the second part of the movie, and then we get to Sticking the Landing, which we'll be ready
he's
to
the
talk
only
about
reason to watch the second movie.
You are right. The only reason.
You don't have the coach anymore.
Yeah, you do. You have the coach. He's in the second movie, but he has a heart attack in the middle of the season.
Right. So
you don't have Wesley Snipes, though. You have
is he doing time at this point?
Omar Epps takes over.
Epps takes over. But you don't have Jake Taylor.
No, Jake Taylor is he becomes the coach of the team. You need to watch the movie again. You're thinking of Back in the Minors.
You're talking about the third one where Dorn is the coach.
Never watched them.
Oh, you're not missing much.
No,
I've never watched it.
Somehow people in their mid-30s are back in the minors. So
right, exactly.
Yeah, Scott Bakula is the head coach in that one.
Dear God in heaven.
And somehow Doyle is now calling minor league games.
Right.
So, or he's calling for the Minnesota Twins now. And so it's the third one is, and I don't want to say abomination because we have other movies that fit that, like Dumb and Dumber 2.
It's not Caddyshack 2.
It's a little bit of a money grab. A little bit of a money grab.
It's not quite Caddyshack 2. Major League 2 has some moments, and I think there are some interesting things, like Corbin Burnson character buys the team, but then doesn't know how to financially manage it.
Yeah, I remember.
And then has to sell it back to the original owner.
Yeah,
who still has a vendetta against the old team. It's okay at best, but this one has the best formula because they say Bob Uecker for the second act. They let you like the players. If they brought in Bob Uecker at the beginning of the movie, it would steal away from the character development of what we have. So this is why it works extremely well, because they develop the characters you want to like at the beginning of the movie, and then they bring Bob Uecker in there to kind of, like I said, he supplements the comedy now. We don't need them for the comedy anymore. He's the comedy, and then we get to the third act. There's no comedy much left at that particular point. But then now we're caring about the success of the team by that point. So
true.
Did it stick the landing?
Let's stick the landing. I agree.
Give him the heater.
And the heater.
You've been waiting your whole career for.
Pretty much. Sticking the landing. The Indians climb in the standings until they are tied with the New York Yankees for first place in the American League East division on the final day of the season, requiring a one-game playoff to determine the division champion and bid to the ALCS. Watching the team celebration on television, Dorn's wife, Suzanne, sees him in an amorous embrace with another woman. In revenge, she sleeps with Vaughn, who is unaware of who she is, and informs Dorn just before he leaves the ballpark the next morning. The Indians manage to keep pace with the Yankees, and Serrano is able to hit a curveball for a home run. The game enters the ninth, tied at 2, but a fatigued Harris loads the bases with 2 outs for star hitter Clu Haywood. Brown brings in Vaughn to face him despite his struggles against him all year. Vaughn, after a bit of encouragement from Dorn, strikes out Haywood on 3 fastballs. Encouragement, yeah, I guess so. With 2 out in the Indians' ninth, Hayes beats out a ground ball to keep the inning alive, causing the Yankees to bring in their head-hunting closer, Duke Simpson, to face Taylor. After Hayes steals second, Taylor has an idea and relays it to the dugout. Taylor points to left field, ostensibly calling his shot, but Duke responds by throwing at Taylor's head. Once again, Taylor points at the stands. Hayes again takes off and at the last possible second, Taylor catches everyone off guard with a bunt, which he beats out by a step. Haywood spots Hayes, who never stopped running, breaking for home, and throws to the plate, but Hayes slides around the tag and scores. The Indians win the game 3-2 and advance to the postseason. In the ensuing celebration, Dorn punches Vaughn for sleeping with his wife, but pulls him up, and they celebrate. Jake spots Linda in the stands, and she holds up her hand to reveal her engagement has been caught off. Yay. And they live happily ever after. Or do they?
Until the sequel.
Until the sequel, that's right.
That's what I hate about sequels the most, is like you invest in like a relationship in the movie and then they
destroy it.
They destroy it in the second movie, and I hate sequels.
Yeah, we really didn't talk a whole lot about, or anything about the fact that Jake finds Rene Russo's character. I don't think
interesting.
I disagree. I think it actually adds something to the movie.
What, Rene's Russo character?
Yeah.
It's nice to look at, because I love Rene Russo, because she's one of my favorite actresses.
I like the fact that he follows her, and like all of the hoity-toities make fun of.
Oh, the scene where she goes up to the apartment? That's a great scene.
Right.
Yeah, with the fiance?
With their just being assholes to be assholes.
Like, Cleveland? I didn't know we had a team anymore. Yes.
Their interactions together makes a lot of sense, and I think I like the fact that we don't get the whole thing that we got in The Natural, where Robert Redford's character sees Glenn Close in the stands, and that causes him to hit the home run. He just sees her in the stands after the game's over,
right?
And they go up to each other. I think it's natural. And it adds something to his character.
I like it.
I mean, because we already know that he's being nice to Ricky and Willie Mays Hayes, so we get that part of him, but we really don't get anything else.
I don't think there's enough here, though, with it, though. I understand what you're saying to a certain extent, but at the same time, there's not enough time in the movie to really develop a relationship. It's not a big factor of the movie. I think they try to make it bigger than it actually is. But I do like the nice touch of her being at the game, and he sees her. I do like that after the fact, and then he tries to chase her down by riding the bullpen mobile.
The bullpen car?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I love that.
I do like the scene when he goes to her fiance's house, and they're kind of grilling him and things of that nature, and they're kind of jabbing them left and right under the radar, but everybody knows that there's tension there. So,
yes.
I'm not a big fan of the library scene. It's awkward at best. I mean, it would be better if he would have been that older guy that he is, that he's learned his lesson. But throughout that whole scene at the library, he comes off being like a guy in his early 20s, the way he's talking about her body. She said that she had a sexier body than yours, and I had to defend your honor. That's something that you would say as a 22-year-old and not somebody who's 35, 36 on his last leg.
Pretty funny.
I don't know. I just think that part was really unneeded. It doesn't hurt the movie in any way, but I just think it's filler. It's filler for what we need and to get back to, and that's the game and Bob Uecker. So, but it's nice to see Rene Russo. I mean, it really is.
I like it, but the end of here, what we're getting at, they win the games enough to get the cardboard cutout of the owner stripped down to her skivvies. And I think that's pretty funny.
I guess in the original version, she's totally naked, but they all see it from a different point of view.
Right.
So you get the reactions when they take the last bit of it off.
Right. No.
I like Louis just totally wasted.
Yes.
Yeah. That face that he has. He's just totally flat.
The actual game between them and the Yankees seems like it could have been a real game.
It's one of the better ones that are like that.
You like the call the shot kind of thing?
I think it's unique.
Yeah.
I think the bunt. Yeah. I like it better than winning by a home run.
True.
Exactly.
I like the fact that they used the speed of Willie Mays Hayes to win that game.
That's Jake Taylor's last at bat.
That's it. That's it for Jake.
Because you hear his knee give out when he hits first base.
He tries to come back in the sequel, but he gets cut in spring training.
Yeah, I remember that now.
And like I said, becomes an assistant manager and then becomes the manager. Yeah, the baseball game is excellent. Uecker is still excellent in the calls because he's still
a little bit more liquored up.
He's having a little fun there.
A little more fun, but still Bob Uecker. Yeah.
They don't call him the best color guy in the business for nothing.
That broadcast school is really paying off.
That's like an inside joke for me and Eric because we both went to broadcast
school. I use that line all the time. Yeah.
I think it's a great ending.
It is a great. It would have been if he hit the home run to win it like the natural or something. It's so predictable. I didn't see the bunt coming.
No.
I did not see it because you knew the guy couldn't run.
Right.
So why is he going to bunt? But it's perfect.
Right. Because they're probably playing back.
Of course they are.
And plus, this was released in 1989. They could have easily have redone the Kirk Gibson home run.
Oh, very easily. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that would have been so lazy.
Yes.
And I like the fact that they decided to use Vaughn earlier to strike that guy out in 3 pitches. I like the 3 pitches. Because sometimes you get that second pitch where the guy fouls it off, almost a home run, right?
Right.
You almost get that in every single baseball movie, right?
Right.
But here,
the fake Carlton Fisk.
Yeah. Here, though, 3 straight fastballs, one harder than the other, just going after him. I like that. A great way to do it. And I mean, I like it that they put it here in the top of the 9th instead of being like bottom of the 9th, away or something like that. I like that they focused on Tom Berenger's character doing the bunt and Willie Mays Hayes, who's got that speed. I think it's really well done.
Yeah,
for a comedy movie, they really picked some really perfect spots here and there in this movie.
And of course, you get the whole Wild Thing, the song and the entrance and everything. And like before this movie, pitchers never had walkout music as far as like relief pitchers.
I'll be honest, the music that you hear at baseball stadiums for the players, or walk up music, that annoys the hell out of me.
Take it or leave it, but you have
leave it.
You have to admit, Metallica coming and playing for Mariano Rivera's last game.
No,
live.
No,
they
live. But I mean in general. But in
Metallica
general,
legitimately came and played live Enter Sandman for Mariano.
But
Rivera.
In general, I liked it better when you just had, I'm a purist. I don't need walk-up music. I don't need...
You want the organ music?
The walk-up music
is traditional, yeah. But it's not walk-up music, though.
Walk-up music is, I could take it or leave it, but I do like having the relief pitcher having his own thing.
I also don't like interleague play.
Well, you don't like the DH either?
I don't have an issue with the DH.
All right, Kevin Costner.
That's right. That's right.
The only thing I don't like here at the end is Rene Russo's, I'm no longer engaged. You just won the game. Yeah. I'm coming to give you a hug. That is the most played out thing that you could have done.
Yeah.
They stayed away from that throughout the whole movie.
It doesn't
and they
take
did
away
it
from
right
it.
there at the end to kind of it was a little bit garbage
from it for me.
I just don't need it there. Maybe after they win, if you want to play a couple more minutes of the movie of her, visiting him and letting him know. But at the game, I mean, I don't need it at the game. That's just something that's been done so many times. I would have loved to see Uecker down on the field celebrating them with him.
But how is he going to get from the box to the field? Or
Uecker in the clubhouse.
There you go. Yes.
Yeah.
Uecker in the club. That would have been a great clubhouse.
Maybe that would have been a better way to end it with the relationship. So they're celebrating in the clubhouse, and some guy goes, Jake, there's somebody here to see you. Jake goes out, and she's there.
I could see that.
I would have liked that a little bit better.
You could have added 5 more minutes to the movie. It wouldn't have made that big of a difference.
It's not a bad ending. Don't get me wrong. I think it's fine the way it ends. I don't need the relationship thing being the last thing that we end on.
Yeah, but it's a base. You kind of knew it was going to go that route.
Oh yeah, Yeah, you don't bring a love interest to not make
and
it
just write her off in the end, right? Yeah.
Right.
Because if they didn't finish it up, we'd be sitting here saying, well, they just left that hanging.
Maybe if she came to the game and she pointed to her stomach.
Oh, wow.
There
you go.
Now that's a whole different, yeah.
See, that could have been in the sequel. See that?
Because they talked about he wanted to retire and have 2 kids.
Have a family, yeah.
Yeah. And then become Olympic swimmers.
Yeah. The medley relay.
Yep.
And they did have their little affair there. Yeah.
Yes, they did.
Okay.
Yeah. I would have liked them trying to find a live chicken.
Yes, right.
Serrano. And them not succeeding in them bringing the Kentucky Fried Chicken.
So Bull Durham was after this, right?
No, Bull Durham was before this.
Okay, because they talk about sacrificing a chicken too. I would have liked to have seen
them make some calls or something.
Or have Ricky and Willie Mays Hayes going, and Willie Mays Hayes actually catches the chicken because he's fast enough.
Right.
That would have been funny.
Yeah.
And then to have Jake go, no, I didn't mean a live chicken.
Yes. Didn't you see my wink?
Willie Mays actually says after Serrano swings and misses for the second time, he goes, we should have got a live chicken.
Yeah.
You're right. Yes, he does. Yeah.
It would have been better, like I said, if they would have got the chicken and maybe Willie Mays Hayes would have said, why did we get rid of that chicken? Yeah, we could have had it. The Serrano home run is a little bit overdone, but it's done in the right time frame.
It's done in the right way.
Right.
Because he says that he's going to take it on himself and not put his faith in Joe Boo and
Joe Boo.
and so he hits it. And I think it's cool. It doesn't seem cliche to me.
And actually in the movie itself, I believe he actually hits the home run. He holds on to that bat. He's so proud of that moment. Technically, it's legal for you to run with the bat as long as it doesn't interfere in the play.
Yeah,
so because it's a home run, he's able to hold on to that bat. If he hit a grounder or something, he can't hold on to the bat.
And Haysbert could actually hit.
Yeah.
Unlike Kevin Costner or some of the other people are
actually,
Ray Liotta.
Costner
could hit, but never like.
I think Costner actually played baseball when he was younger.
He did, but he worked at it. After he did Bull Durham, he worked at it.
I mean, he's not like Wesley Snipes, like we said earlier, who couldn't do anything. So
poor Wesley.
Wesley Snipes is more like Ray Liotta in Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
I mean, Shoeless Joe Jackson bats wrong-handed in Field of Dreams, but that's neither.
That's for another movie, another time.
That's another movie.
Another movie, another time.
So,
what do you think, gentlemen? Should we do our reviews?
Yeah,
sounds like it.
Let's do it. Let's kick it off with Ken.
It's a fun movie. Nothing to take too seriously, but it's great work. Like I said earlier, they do a great job of introducing us to characters and helping develop those characters, and then they bring in the comic relief with Bob Uecker, and they end it with the typical baseball, we win it all at the end of the movie, which is great. If you're in there trying to get a laugh out loud movie from start to finish, this isn't it though. This movie starts out very strong with the laughs, and it continues with the laughs, but only with Bob Uecker, and then the laughs kind of just fizzle out by the end. So if you're looking for a comedy start to finish, this is not it. If you want a baseball movie that can be funny at times, this is where to go. It's not in the Bull Durham range, though. Bull Durham is much better doing this than this movie did, but it's still a fun watch, and I will watch it for years to come, mainly because of Bob Uecker. He was the best at what he did. On that note, I'm going to give it a 4 hooks. It's a movie that I will definitely, like I say, see in the future. Who knows? Maybe opening day this year, I might come back to it just in honor of Bob Uecker. So, 4 hooks.
Ted?
I agree with most of what Ken's had to say there, but I think this is right there with Bull Durham, in my opinion. I think they're two different animals in a way. I think that they deal with 2 separate issues. Bull Durham, I think, is the superior movie overall, but this movie hits everything for me. I mean, I'll be perfectly honest. I really don't have a an unbiased view of this because I'll tell you what, it takes me back to my childhood watching baseball as a kid. And I think that's the beauty of baseball, because it can remind you of being a kid, unlike other sports. I love the characters. I think they're great. Of course, Bob Uecker is absolutely amazing. I actually do think it's funny throughout the whole movie. It makes me laugh at different parts all the time. In the second half of the movie, it's not the characters necessarily. It's Bob Uecker that's making you laugh. And I think that's the point. I think it works very well. I don't remember it getting a whole lot of publicity, but this has become a favorite for a lot of people. Like I said, I watch this the beginning of every baseball season. Who doesn't like Ricky Vaughn? When I played Little League, I had glasses. See Ricky Vaughn have glasses? I thought that was pretty freaking cool. It's iconic to me. To me, this is it's a 4.2 because no, it's not quite Bull Durham, but I'll tell you what, it's 1B to Bull Durham's 1A for me. I just love everything about this movie. It's hilarious. What about you, Eric?
Well, I definitely think it's on par with Bull Durham. It's not like airplane slapstick humor. It's a lot of adult humor. It's a lot of baseball humor. And if you're a fan of baseball, you will get a lot of the jokes, just kind of like Bull Durham. It's a great movie. I love it from start to finish. Yeah, I mean, there's a few little rinky-dink flaws in it, but it's a timeless movie. It's a movie that no matter where you are in baseball, this movie is a classic. You can appreciate it from start to finish, which is what I do. I honestly don't remember what I gave Bull Durham, but I think I'm probably somewhere in the ballpark. I'm giving this one 4.5 hooks. It's one that I watch every year as well. I'm quoting lines from it all the time. It's just a great movie, and I'm really glad that we did it. Circumstances obviously were not what we should have done it under, but here we are. We're celebrating a great movie. We're celebrating Bob Uecker, and it's just a movie that is timeless. So 4.5 hooks for me. Ken, what are we doing next?
Our next movie is we're going to be celebrating the 25th anniversary of Gladiator, which the sequel just came out in theaters about a month ago, so it's probably out of the theater by now. So I'm sure you'll all be able to see the sequel on some type of streaming service by the time that episode comes out. For the 2025 year, our focus will be anniversary editions of movies. We'll still do a movie here and there that is not an anniversary edition like we just did to celebrate especially a life of somebody that we honored. In this case, Bob Uecker. I was just amazed by how Facebook was flooded and with just Bob Uecker stuff. Every social media thing that was out there, Bob Uecker's name was attached to it. It seemed like.
Yeah, I noticed that too. This is everywhere.
Yeah. And even the man who hates baseball the most, Rob Manfred, the commissioner, came out and made a statement.
Okay.
Well, he is kind of obligated to make a statement, but okay. Yeah.
He hates baseball. Yeah. He hates all things fun.
All right, so Gladiator, a movie I have not seen. So I know I've
Gladiator.
Are
you not entertained?
I'm looking forward to watching this, and maybe eventually I'll watch Gladiator 2.
It's worth your time.
Boogaloo. So yes, that's all the time we have for this episode of Hooked on Movies, and as always, just a bit outside.
Tastes great, less filling. See you at the movies.
I must be in the front row. See you next time on Hooked on Movies.